I hear you. I hear you. I have been teasing the return of the podcast for a while now, and you've been waiting really patiently. I have actually recorded and then hated it, but I've also been dipping my toe in other endeavors. I've been jumping on the YouTube. I have been writing a book. I'm currently in the process of sharing this idea that I had for 100-ish day challenge, which I just think would be a really fun way to spend winter. It actually goes into spring, but when I say winter, I mean in the southern hemisphere. So for the next 3 months, I think it'd be really cool if we all tried to do 100-ish days of something. And it's going to be a slightly paid challenge. So just like $47, that's your little ticket in. And then we're going to have this private Facebook group. We're going to have weekly check-ins and we're going to go for 100 days, which when you think 100 days, you probably are like me and you're thinking, oh yeah, nice round number, but also really long number. That is like over 3 months. That's a long time. And when I say 100-ish days, it means I don't care if you do 100 days. It's not about being consistent. It's about being consistently inconsistent and allowing that and accepting that that is kind of part of who we are. It's definitely part of who I am. And I think the point of the challenge for me is to challenge perfectionism. It's to challenge the labels and the old stories that we have about ourselves and allow for a little bit of inconsistency. Anyway, I got off track then. Back to the podcast. So I'm back with another season of talking about the late diagnosed ADHD experience. Please know that I'm always open to suggestions. You can email me at hello@kerrysanford.com. I find it more interesting when I'm bouncing off other people. It's like a feedback loop that I'm opening and being like, hey, what do you want me to do? And you're like, hey, you should do this. And I'm like, oh my God, it's such a good idea. So, how are you? It's been a while. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Don't get me started on the 2 hours that I spent this morning. The unexpected 2 hours that I spent trying to begin recording. Lots of tech issues. And the funniest thing is, I now expect lots of tech issues. And so I have all of these solutions. Still took me 2 hours. It's always something. There's always something you haven't thought of. For me, it was, I had a light on. Don't put a light on near your microphone because apparently it causes buzzing. It was painful, but I solved it. And then I had an issue with my computer and the camera didn't work. And what do you mean, camera? You're recording a podcast. Well, I'm experimenting with putting the podcast up on YouTube. I am scared. Yeah, I am scared. Because do I often record the podcast in my pajamas? Yeah, you'll notice I'm in my pajamas right now. I had to get up and show that I was wearing my Vegemite pajamas. Do I eat a lot of Vegemite? No. Do I like the design? Yeah. So I bought myself Vegemite pajamas, and when they arrived, guess what? I had accidentally put 2 Vegemite pajama pants in my... I was wondering, because I was buying off Peter Alexander, which is already like, ching, pretty pricey. Anyway, they arrived, and I was like, I think this is actually a blessing that I have now 2 pairs of pajamas, because when one's in the wash, I get to wear the other. I'm getting off point. Where was I going? I was going to remind you that if you do ever miss my voice in between podcasts, you can always go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to Substack, and now go to YouTube because I'm everywhere, which I think is quite ADHD, like embracing my chaos. Do you know what I mean? I've had people say, focus on one thing, focus on the one platform, but every platform I get something different from, right? So Instagram is like my whole teaching community. It is, I like to think that there are some ADHDers there. There are definitely some ADHD teachers there, but these people have been following me for like 8 years. You know, there's history. There's a background there. And then I go to TikTok where it's just like, that's the home of ADHDers. There are so many people with ADHD there. You know why? Because the videos are quick and fun and doom scrolling can drain your whole life away. So watch out there. And then YouTube. Actually, I've kind of just been getting back into it this year. Before that, I was like, I don't really get it. And now, what has changed? Maybe it's just wanting a bit of diversity in my platforms. Anyway, I'm on YouTube now. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of cozy creators there. And by that, I mean people who aren't... You know how you go to YouTube and you're like, I want to learn this. I want to how to, give me all the tips. But sometimes you don't want that. Or at least I don't. Sometimes I just want to hang out with someone fun. And I don't want to learn from them. And so that's what my YouTube is. I'm sick of people trying to teach me stuff and do it with a hook. And it just all feels so contrived and planned and what's that? It's not buzzword. It's close to buzzword. Hook. No, it is. It's to do with a hook. Clickbait. It just all feels real clickbaity. Like, this video is going to change your life. And then you press on it. Why do I press? I don't know. They got me. They got me with their hook. They got me with their title. But then I press on it and I'm like, boring. Don't tell me you're going to change my life. That's a lie. So now I just follow people that are like, come along for a day in my life. And it's fun. I like it. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So Substack, another platform. Hey there, I got another one. And Substack, if you miss my voice, I've actually been recording some of the essays or articles I've been writing. I show up there kind of like monthly with a little something to say. They do always seem to turn into pep talks, which I think is quite similar to the podcast. I was going to upload a couple of the articles, especially the voiceovers, as a podcast. And the only thing that got in my way was I was like, do I have to add the intro of my podcast? Anyway, so now I'm like thinking, I'm just going to get rid of the intro. Or maybe I'll keep the flawed, lazy, broken or wrong, and then just go straight into it. I don't know. That has been a block. When I say a block, I mean a barrier. That has been something that has been stopping me from uploading the podcast. Whenever I can, I look for ways that I can jump over the barrier. Identifying your own barriers is such a great tool. It's kind of noticing, what is getting in the way? And I have to say, I'm gonna shout out to journaling again. Can we all start journaling? If you have ADHD and maybe you can't verbalize to someone, externalize. Get the information out of your head and look at it. So I looked at I asked myself in the journal, what is the resistance here? What is stopping you? You love doing the podcast. You love having a yap, having a chat. I do like that people are just like making up words now and then we make it part of our vocabulary. What's that called? Nah. Looks like I'm constipated, but I'm trying to think of a word. Nah, it's gone. That's okay. Vernacular. Anyway, yap. I don't even want to use the word yap, but I now see it so often that I'm like, I'm just here to have a yap. I personally would say chat. I'm here to have a chit chat. God, my brain is all over the place. I'm going to check out my meds. 9:20, 10:20. 11:20. Nowhere near having my meds. That's okay. Whatever. Maybe your brain's just spaghetti today. Oh yeah, I was talking about Substack. Yeah. So it's kind of like a bonus podcast. I'm giving you options, right? If you miss me, go here, go here, go here. I'm like the lady on the airplane who I always, by the way, as she's doing it, I really want to do it with her. Like, the exits are at the front and the sides and the back. And like, they almost look like they're doing a RuPaul's performance. Like, I don't actually know what that's called in the LGBTQI community where they, when you watch the video, you're going to know what that looks like, but I also don't have the words to explain it. It kind of looks like you're doing a hand clapping game, dance, squats all at once. My brain just went completely blank. Oh my God. I'm out of practice. Let's do a quick refresher. If you're listening for the first time, chaos. Welcome to the chaos. But in previous episodes, you've heard me chat about the diagnostic process, especially from the perspective of an Australian cisgender, white person. So it's like one version of the diagnostic process. I can only ever speak from my personal experience. So I spoke about my personal experience with asking for help, with talking to my family, talking to a psychologist, talking to a psychiatrist, and starting the medication titration process. Side note, I've made a pretty badass freebie that is going to be in the show notes, that because I changed medication recently, and so I made a little freebie that helps you to track side effects and also gives you a little bit of education around what to expect. And because people, we're curious creatures. We want to know what's quote unquote normal. We want to know, should I be having a headache for, weeks? Yeah, these are all normal things. And I think sometimes people think, oh, meds don't work for me because I felt like this. And I'm like, yeah, I felt real bad for the first couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, as my body got used to it. The dry mouth that I had when I started the Dex, because I've changed from Ritalin to Dex. No, there isn't a reason. There isn't this one's better than the other one. It was just, I wanted to see, because I'd been on Ritalin for 5 years and I couldn't really notice if it was helping me as much anymore. And if there was a tolerance build up, I wanted to see how Dex goes, potentially maybe even see how Vyvanse goes. We're going to find out. I've got a lot of friends who are on Vyvanse because we all find each other like magnets, and there's also a lot of side effects there that I'm a bit nervous about. But you do you. Find what works for you. I've also got a lot of friends who don't take medication, who don't want to take medication, and whatever. It's your journey. It's your ADHD. You do whatever you need. Your biology is different to mine. That was another tangent. Actually, quick rant. As you know, I had to redo the diagnosis in Vic, and I found out why that is. So because my psychiatrist got my GP got that permission to prescribe, GPs in Australia, their license only extends to their state. So that is why when I went to New South Wales and when I went to Vic, I couldn't get my medication. And for a year, and by I mean me and my husband, and mostly my husband because he's amazing and he's better at driving than I am, had to drive back to South Australia every 3 to 6 weeks. Someone is definitely mowing their lawn right now. Oh, maybe it's a truck. Oh, okay, maybe it's a truck actually. Phew, because I was like, because my brain's going to be off. I did just get out of bed this morning and was like, you said that you get the podcast out tomorrow. You really got to do it today. I was going to do it on Friday. My hair looked amazing, by the way, just so you know. I look beautiful. And I was wearing this amazing new jumper and it made me feel so good until it didn't, because the wall of awful came out of nowhere and smacked me in the face. Sometimes your energy is just off. I think that is one of the hardest things to explain to people who aren't neurodivergent, is that just sometimes without warning, everything changes. Everything fluctuates, and whether it's your energy, it's your emotions, it's your hormones, I don't know what it was. I think I just heard a chainsaw. That can't be right. What is happening today? Okay. I'm going to stop whinging about everything. No. Actually, I'm not. Can I talk for a moment about how expensive psychiatrist appointments are? Because I had to go through the diagnostic process again. I don't know why, because it was the same psychiatrist. But I had to go back to him. $820? You what? 820, and then I went back $620. What are we doing here? Is this life-saving? Oh, I guess in some ways yes, but also, come on, mate. For an hour? If you're listening and you're American, that's 531 USD. Canadian, 742 CAD. British, £398. How much was your psychiatrist? please let me know in the comments, because you're joking. You're joking me. That's a lot. Money. Am I right? Am I right? It's not like we need it to live, eat, survive, dress really cute and colourful in this capitalist dystopian land. April was so expensive. May, also pretty expensive. Life, cost of living crisis. It's so hard, because I wonder if this is a neurodivergent experience or whether this is a Kerry experience. But it's not, because I've spoken to other ADHDers who are the same, where you look at money and you're like, I know that this is important, that this is something, but also it's like a human construct and it doesn't feel real. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're saving money and you kind of like see the savings, but really it's just like numbers on a screen. Everything is just numbers. It doesn't feel real. And you know that it is real and you know that it's important. But it's also like an exchange of constructed, like a human construct of value. I say that this is worth this and this is worth this, and then we swap. And now I have a great microphone and you have all my money. And like, that's everything. And it's just hard for me. I want to care about money, because I'm like, money will get you a house and lovely things. But I'm also like, money just goes in my account, then out my account, then in my account. Is that neurodivergence or is that Kerry? But it's also like, this feels like a mathematical concept that I don't understand. Like time. What? Did we just make up these measurements? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Getting back to whatever. This episode's going to be all over the place. We're just catching up. It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while, so let's just ramble. Let's just chit chat. Everyone around us says it's important to have money and to be on time, but we're just ducks on the water. We're just keeping ourselves afloat here. If no one has bloody told you lately, you are perfectly imperfect.